We need to really hydrate. I actually haven't like drank I have not drank any water today yet, which is bad. Hey guys! So as some of you may have seen on my Snapchat story, if you follow me on that, just username in the description, I spent this past weekend in Quebec. And here I just wanted to spend a little bit of time reflecting on and talking about a few things that I learned about Quebec. Quebec is a province in Canada. Quebec City, which is where I spent most of my time in this past weekend, is the capital of Quebec province. As opposed to most of Canada, which is officially bilingual, Quebec's official language is French, which allowed me to practice the really mediocre French skills I had that I hadn't touched since high school. I did relearn what the word jambon meant when I was ordering a ham and brie sandwich, so that's a plus. Okay, so the hotel I stayed in was right about here, which is in one of the newer parts of the city. But all the hype online and in the tourist books was all about Old Quebec, which is over here. It's got a port, a citadel, and a castle, which has now been transformed into a hotel, and it's actually the most photographed hotel in the world. It's also got a lot of little streets with all kinds of restaurants lining both sides. The French names definitely make them sound a lot fancier than they probably are. So since we were staying in a newer part of the city, and everything noteworthy on the maps and in the tour books was in the old city, we spent a lot of time walking in between the two. And I started to notice that Quebec, though you can visibly see the separation between the old city and the new city on a map, Quebec is a place where the two actually overlap and coexist in some really stunning ways. And that's not really something I've noticed anywhere else. Like, so when we were visiting the Citadel, they had a tour of the Governor General's residence. And so we entered from one side, which was really lavish and luxurious and traditional. And then after we explored all the rooms on that side, we moved on to the new wing, which was built after a fire had destroyed that part of the residence. And though the difference was definitely noticeable between the two, the new still blended in with the old, and likewise the old blended in with the new. And I found examples of this coexistence really everywhere that I looked. And this observation didn't really seem all too significant to me at the time. But I've actually been kind of unable to stop thinking about it since. Like, it can be applied to so many things, even when it comes to comparing college and high school as new versus old. I feel like I've always thought about these two ideas as just like very separate things. Like, I have my high school friends and my college friends, and I have my high school textbooks and my college textbooks, and I even have my high school sleep habits and my college sleep habits that are just so incredibly different. And like, back in high school, while I definitely did enjoy every single thing that I did, there was still always this like constant reminder in the back of my head that was always just like, you still need to get into college. Like, you can't just do anything you want to do whenever you want to do it, right? You still have to have a goal in mind. So sometimes the things I did would have a pretty clear connection to like, I'm doing this for the purpose of getting into college. And then once I got to college, I started separating myself from a lot of those things because I was entering a new stage of my life where I was destined to be a completely new me, of course. But that's just like not reality. And I'm discovering more and more these days that everything does build on top of previous things. Like, the friends I had in high school totally influence the kinds of people I want to spend time around in college. And the things I learned in high school definitely will serve as building blocks for the things that I'm learning in college. And my sleeping habits in high school definitely encourage me to stop having such a terrible sleep schedule and improve it in college. And all my interests in high school, they don't ever go away. Even if I'm not continuing every single one of them, the effort I put into them, that still influences everything that I do. So yeah, these have just been some thoughts from my head about my life and about Quebec City and about how the two seem to have overlapped in quite interesting ways this past weekend. It's got a port, a citadel. I'm still not sure if that's how you pronounce it. Let's search that up.
Citadel.
Citadel. So it's got a port, a citadel. Citadel. It sounds like like I'm saying acidic, but a citadel. It's got a port. It's got a port. It's got a port. A port. A port. It's got a port, a citadel, and a castle.